So student services, we are kind of switching from just special education to student services as a whole. So here are our student services team. The learning specialists are Maddie, myself, and Sandy. Dave Chermak is our school psychologist. And then this year we added the two interventionist and instructional coach positions, Christy Kandari and Sarah Coe. And then our ELD teacher, Miss Ledden. And then the rest of the people are all of our amazing support people. So our SLPs, our amazing paras, our OT, and our PTs. And they're not on with us. It's just the school team right now. So Christy and Sarah, I'm going to pass off to you for MTSS and intervention.
Great, thanks, Tessa. I'm Sarah Coe. I'm new this year with our new positions for interventionists and instructional coaches. So part of what we do is we help facilitate MTSS meetings along with Tessa. We collaborate with teachers to look at data and identify student skill gaps, which goes towards creating small groups, both for teachers in their classroom and for Christy and I in the groups that we pull for intervention. Or push into different classes to help out with those students. And a lot of it is looking at data and data-based. And our second part of our job in the next slide is about instructional coaching, working with teachers and helping them just continue to work through things with their teaching practice. We have a lot of really great teachers on campus, and we're just giving them feedback, meeting with them bi-weekly, and supporting them in their professional goals. We created a resource library for learning centers. That was our big project last quarter. And then we partnered with Miss Charlie to talk about Zero Worksheet Wednesday, which is something that we were also really excited about. It was quick because I know we have a lot of people to talk. Thank you.
And Miss Ledden is our ELD teacher. Go ahead, Miss Ledden.
Hi, I hope everyone's doing great. Well, I'm the new ELD teacher, and I love Westgate. I'm very happy to be here. I'll make this quick. I apologize, there's not edits in my slide when it's presented, so I'm a little embarrassed, but it doesn't look this way.
It's something about, it's okay. It's just something about
okay,
the template I used. It's fine.
So I teach about 21 students in the English Language Development Department, and they're all varying levels of English. I have about 20 other students that I work with in reading groups. I just had a little bit of extra time throughout the day. But amazing students. We meet 5 times per week, 45-minute sessions, and they're all varying levels of English. We base them on by doing assessments. There's the access assessment, which we do once a year. And also we do a screener at the beginning of the year, which places them on the different levels of where they should land in their English development. With these students, I really focus a lot on reading, writing, listening, and speaking, but a lot of foundational literacy skills. We use the Schoology units for ELD curriculum, a lot of race writing, a lot of writing formatting, and just a wonderful group of students. I'm just really thankful to be here. A lot of our focus really is reading and writing, which supports that foundational literacy. And my background is in reading endorsement and dyslexia certification. And I also have a CLD endorsement. So it really supports those learners. So thanks for your time.
Thanks, Kelly.
Sure.
So in the special education realm, we have 50 students this year with disabilities that qualify for an IEP. You can see the breakdown by grade there on the left side. We have 16 students with a speech or language impairment, 23 with a specific learning disability, 1 student with a developmental delay, 15 students with autism, 16 students with other health impairment, and 1 student with a serious emotional disability. That number doesn't add to 50 because some students qualify for multiple disabilities. And then this is an overview in a minute of all of the special education services that we provide on campus. Give it a second. So we provide push-in literacy or math, which is just grade level academic instruction with accommodations inside the general education setting. And then pull-out literacy in math, which could be foundational skill instruction that's planned directly towards meeting students' IEP goals. And then we have pull-out behavior, executive functioning, or daily living. So that could be direct instruction in planning, organization, class participation, work completion, social skills, like identifying emotions. And then we do the same thing inside classrooms. Sorry, you can hear my own kindergartner upstairs doing something. We have pull-out mental health services, which is direct instruction and support towards mental health and social emotional skills. We have social skills groups, which sometimes these are co-run with our speech therapist and our school psychologist to work on social communication. And then we also have speech, which can be in or out. We've done a lot more inside with both speech and OT this year to try and get kids to generalize skills inside the classroom. And then a lot of the articulation and some of that language stuff is also outside of the classroom. And then same with OT or PT. PT ends up a lot of times being outside of the classroom working on those gross motor skills. And sometimes it's OT outside or inside for sensory needs, handwriting, fine motor skills. And then this is the evaluation process for special education. So the first thing is that the student goes through the MTSS process, or sometimes parents request an evaluation. If a student hasn't made progress with interventions in place, then an evaluation is opened. Then we go to the evaluation where the team assesses in all areas. So general intelligence, communication, academic, social emotional status, health, and motor skills. Then we go to eligibility. So we hold a team meeting, and that includes family, service providers, the general education teacher, and discuss the results and determine if the student is eligible. And if they are eligible, then we do the whole reevaluation process every 3 years. And then if they're eligible, we hold the IEP. Sometimes it's on that day. Sometimes it can be up to 30 days later. And then that's updated once per year. So our team has completed 4 initial evaluations this year, 9 reevaluations, and we've actually had 2 students exit. Both of them were in speech, and they both exited from speech services this year. They're very proud of their graduation. And then Maddie, I'll go ahead and pass off to you.
I'm Maddie Frazier. I am the K-2 learning specialist, and I chose to just focus on the executive functioning and social emotional skills groups that I'm working with. That I have a lot of kiddos on that caseload that actually are really where they need to be academically or even above. And so these are kind of the barrier to accessing the curriculum and the classroom are some of these skills in task initiation, task completion, frustration tolerance, using coping skills in the classroom. So I have 2 different groups that I see 3 times a week for 30 minutes each. And Mr. Chermak actually joins one of those days for those groups. And then we have been using some zones of regulation, a lot of social stories for really specific needs with one-on-one work. And then one thing that we've started using this year is the little spot of feelings and emotions. The kids have really latched onto and seen some great buy-in with that in their groups.
Sandy, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sandy Bunnell, and I'm choosing to focus on the reading and writing groups that I run during the course of a week. I have students ranging from 3rd up to 8th grade, and I see them at various times throughout the week. My 3-4 group is 3 times per week. My 5-6 group is 2 times a week. I see a 7th and 8th grade group 2 times a week, and then I also have writing groups at those same grade levels. I currently have 18 students attending my small group pull-out instruction. And those groups tend to focus on basic reading and or writing so that students have the prerequisite skills needed for grade level reading in the classroom. A large portion of my reading instruction utilizes the Wilson reading system, which is a structured literacy program based on research and the O.G. Orton Gillingham principles. It's very systematic and integrated, and it teaches decoding and morphology and the study of word elements, which we spend a significant amount of time focusing on. The instruction that I provide is very direct and explicit, multisensory and interactive. And the nice thing about Wilson is that it aligns with the Dyslexia Association's guidelines for working with students with dyslexia. And over the course of the past couple of years since implementing it, I have seen a lot of growth in my students. This year, due to an increase in the number of students that need specific supports for writing, I've been creating new writing groups and focusing that intervention on writing skills utilizing the RACES strategy, which is the acronym for Restate, Answer, Cite, Explain, and Summarize. This helps students organize and produce academic written work that includes typically thesis statements and also cites textual evidence to support a claim. That's about it.
Thanks, Sandy. I am going to focus on sharing about my 5th through 8th grade math pullout. So I have 15 students that began at least 2 years below on grade level math calculation probes. I meet with them twice a week during academic lab. So 5th and 6th grade on their own, and then 7th and 8th grade on their own. And we focus a lot on math calculation deficits. So in number sense, basic operations, decimals, and fractions, because that's what they need for grade level math. And then I work on providing a lot of tools to them that they can take back to their general education classroom, such as like using a calculator the right way or using a multiplication chart. We take a lot of very step-by-step notes that they can use for an algorithm and then take back to their class and use. So we started with subtraction with regrouping. We've done 3x1, 2x2 multiplication, 3x1 long division. We're in the middle of our decimals unit right now, and then we're going to fractions. Just so that they are ready for their next grade level, and then hopefully also for some of those skills that they need on CMAS. Mr. Chermak.
All right. I'm Dave Chermak. I'm the school psychologist, and just talking a little bit about mental health services. So I see students in groups as well as individually. As Maddie mentioned before, there are 2 groups that she sees 3 times a week, and I join for one of those. So it's good to do those co-facilitated groups when we can. Some of the curriculums that we use are zones of regulation. We haven't used social thinking as much in those groups, but it has come up in some groups that we've run before, and Little Spotted Feelings, which, as Maddie mentioned, the kids have really taken to. It's got some songs included with it that they really like. I've actually moved my service provision more from groups to individual just because of the nature of what we have. It's with so few kids across grade levels, it's been hard to group them according to need. And it's been a lot more successful, I think, to talk to individual students about their particular situations and try to help them out with what's going on with them, particularly also getting information from staff and family to make sure that we're addressing the concerns that come up as we go along. Another big piece of our mental health program is the morning check-ins and afternoon checkouts that we've been doing. So we kind of piloted this more in the middle school last year with Sandy and I in her resource room, checking in with a handful of middle school students. And we've started expanding more and have more elementary school students getting involved. And it's a really great way to build rapport and just make sure that we're keeping those lines of communication open with students, also getting input from teachers. We have some students that have the electronic point sheets, and that way we're able to kind of keep track, get information from teachers about what's happened during the day so they can talk to us, but we also have that other input. And and just another thing is just there are a lot of student needs that arise during the day, which could be anything, could be just a blow up in class of getting very emotional or running away from class or whatever it is. That's something that I do, but our whole SPED team really, the learning specialist and paraprofessionals are able to help out with, and that comes up a lot. So we're on the radio and we're responding to calls pretty often to help out students in need. The last thing I have on here is the functional behavior assessment and behavior intervention plan process. So for students where we need to get a little bit more information about what is leading to specific behaviors and how we can best address that. That's something that we can do as part of the IEP process. It's also something that we can do in general education, but it's a tool that lets us get a little bit more information to plan for behavioral interventions and supports for students.